soft ocean ambiance, gentle narration tone. Indonesia, a country of stunning beauty, teeming with wildlife and mystery. A paradise for tourists. And sometimes, a place where nature calls for help. Today's story is about one man, a massive creature, and a split-second decision that would test the limits of courage and compassion. You're not going to believe what happened off the coast of Gorontalo. Julian Dungjo had always felt more at home under the waves than on land. A professional diver with years of experience, Julian spent his days guiding tourists through the crystal waters of Sulawesi, Indonesia, coral reefs, schools of exotic fish, sea turtles. He knew these waters like the back of his hand. But even for someone as seasoned as Julian, nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to face. That day had started like any other. The sky was clear, the sea was calm, and a group of tourists had booked a trip to explore the ocean from a local fishing boat. Julian wasn't diving that morning, just along for the ride, but fate, it seems, had other plans. As the boat cruised past the reef line, one of the tourists leaned over the side and pointed. "Hey! Is that a fin?" Everyone looked. There it was, a massive black fin, slicing just beneath the surface of the water, and not moving. Julian narrowed his eyes. It wasn't a dolphin. It was too large for that. Then the fin moved, but only slightly. Not the swift, graceful glide you'd expect from a predator. It almost looked stuck. One tourist muttered, "Is that a shark?" Julian didn't answer. His gut told him something was wrong. The tourists warned him not to go in. "Wait, Julian, that thing's huge. What if it's dangerous?" But Julian had made up his mind. He pulled on his mask, tightened his fins, and without another word, dove headfirst into the water. The sea swallowed him whole. From the surface, the group watched with bated breath as their guide disappeared below the waves, heading straight toward the mysterious creature. Beneath the surface, the water grew darker. The shape became clearer. It wasn't a shark, it was an orca, a massive female, easily 20 feet long and visibly distressed. She was twisted awkwardly, turning in slow circles, her dorsal fin trailing a tangle of thick fishing lines. Julian's heart pounded. Orcas are apex predators. One sudden move, one flick of the tail, and he'd be done. But something about her eyes, wide, panicked, almost pleading, told him this wasn't an attack waiting to happen. This was a cry for help. Julian surfaced and shouted for the fishermen. "Netline, she's stuck. I need a knife." A friend tossed him a blade, and Julian dove again. Carefully, he approached the orca. She spun away at first, frightened, letting out a powerful blast of bubbles that stirred the water. But Julian didn't retreat. He floated near her side, gently reached out, and rested a hand on her fin. To everyone's shock, the orca calmed. Julian began cutting. Strand by strand, he worked through the thick plastic lines wrapped around her body. Some were dug deep into her skin. The tourists above watched in tense silence, their phones recording what felt like a miracle unfolding. Then, Julian vanished beneath her. One of the tourists gasped. "Did she hit him?" The orca thrashed once, then stopped. Seconds passed, no sign of Julian. Just when panic began to set in, he resurfaced, gasping for air, holding up a large chunk of net. The boat erupted in cheers, but the job wasn't over yet. Julian went down again, this time to reach the orca's tail. He needed to free her completely. Every moment spent underwater was a risk, but he didn't hesitate. He wasn't just saving an animal, he was protecting something sacred. After several tense minutes, the last knot gave way. The lines floated up like seaweed, and the orca just floated there, free, but not moving. Julian shouted to the boat, "She doesn't realize she's free!" He grabbed a long wooden pole, gently pressed it against her side, guiding her away from the boat. At first, nothing. Then, the tail twitched. A powerful, elegant sweep of motion. The orca turned and began to swim. The entire boat clapped and cheered as the massive creature disappeared into the deep blue. Julian hauled himself back onto the boat, exhausted but smiling. He didn't need applause. He didn't need a reward. He had just done what his heart told him was right. Later, when the story went viral on social media, with videos capturing every heart-stopping moment, Julian gave a rare interview. "They're not monsters," he said. "They're intelligent, emotional creatures. She wasn't dangerous, she was scared. Local fishermen backed him up. One, named Anshar Rahman, said something that stuck with everyone. In our culture, if a man kills a strange sea creature, he and his family will suffer bad luck. That's what our ancestors say. But if you save one, the ocean remembers. And this ocean, that day, remembered Julian. In a world where it's easy to look away, Julian chose to dive headfirst into danger. Not because he had to, but because he couldn't stand by. His story reminds us that courage isn't about conquering fear. It's about caring enough to face it. And sometimes, the wildest hearts are the ones most in need of a gentle touch. So the next time you stare out across a vast, silent sea, remember the diver who touched an orca's fin and changed a life. If you found this story inspiring, give it a like and share it with someone who needs a little hope today. And for more incredible true stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay inspired.